Hi guys, welcome back to another video. And guys, guess who's here? When you see this face, you know it's your Auntie Victoria, aka Auntie Vicky. And guys, I'm back today with another video. Happy Sunday, guys. Happy Sunday. So before I get into the video, I just want to thank you all for supporting me on my last story time. And guys, you know that story time was all about SD, yeah? But now we're moving on. So we're moving on to another story time. And yeah, so guys, I just want you to like up the video, press the notification bell when I'm on so you can know when I'm coming with a video, and to subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend of Auntie Victoria's Reality Corner, guys. So guys, I really want to grow my channel, so please support me and just share the videos, guys, and comment. But to be fair, quite a few have commented on my videos, and I feel so appreciative of your comments. And yeah, it really kind of boosts me up to encourage me to continue with my story time, because a lot of you said you've really enjoyed my story time with SD and they look forward to more videos. So guys, here I am today with another video. So guys, I've kind of asked you what next would you want me to talk about, because guys, to be fair, I've got loads of stories, but I have to kind of pick out what I want to bring to you, because the thing go. But anyway, I think today we're going to talk about someone suggested to me that I should talk about my early days of a school that I used to go to where I grew up, and about a particular teacher. So went into my thinking box and I'm thinking, what do I remember about those days? Because guys, that is how many years ago. But anyway, I decided that, yeah, all right, I'm gonna just bring what I remember of that teacher and of that time. So the school was, guys, come now guys, like up the video, press the like button and like up the video, and let's get into this story time. So the school I was thinking about, or the school that I went to when I was living in Kitson Town, was Kitson Town All Age School. So guys, who remember Kitson Town All Age School? For those who know me and went to school with me, you should all remember Kitson Town All Age School. So at the time when we moved to Kitson Town, I was still fairly young. And I think when I started going to that school, I went in at grade, I believe it was grade 4 or grade 5. That's when I started Kitson Town All Age School. So going to Kitson Town All Age School was like so much different from when I was going to, because I went to, when we just came to the UK, to Jamaica, I went to Macaulay's All Age School in Spanish Town, but we didn't stay there long. I think we'd stay there maybe about a month or even less than that at that school. So all of my school years, early years, would have been at Kitson Town All Age School. So where do I start? Yeah, so yeah, I was around, I think I entered, as I said, around grade 4 or grade 5. And before we went to that school, my dad now, because this is where my dad came from. He came from that area. And he said, any school me want to know go, it's got to be Kitson Town All Age School, because a good school, good school. And my father used to brag about that school. And mind you guys, my father didn't go to school regularly, but when he went, He claims him was top of the class and everything. And he loved that school. Him alone would recommend that school. So then he would tell us about this principal of the school named Teacher Green. And back then my father said Teacher Green was a strict teacher, strict principal, and pity them off to read, can't read in a Teacher Green class, and all these things he used to talk about Teacher Green. But the way he talk about Teacher Green, guys, I'm afraid of Teacher Green. But lucky for us, Teacher Green passed long time and gone to his ancestors. Yeah. So guys, there was Teacher Green, and there was a teacher called Mrs. Thompson. So my dad remember Mrs. Thompson well. He would talk highly of Mrs. Thompson and how Mrs. Thompson don't play, and if you're going to Mrs. Thompson class, you have to learn to read. You can't leave your class without read and write. And he recommended Mrs. Thompson to the highest. So, with that being said, guys, when he was talking about the school, all I could think about, Lord, this school sound like some wicked boarding school type of thing. When you watch certain things on TV back in those days. So, anyway, Father enrolled us and we got into the school. So then I can remember the day when he took us up to the school now to begin school, and he introduced us. Guys, I thought this Mrs. Thompson was long gone. Mrs. Thompson was well and alive. Yes, Mrs. Thompson was still around. She never gone nowhere. So guys, going up to school with my dad, he introduced us now, and like Mrs. Thompson, like my dad said, Teacher Thompson, Mrs. Thompson. And then he mentioned his name, and straight away she remembered him. And he said, these are my children. I was living in England and now me come back and these are my children. And Mrs. Thompson was, what? And she gave one big lick in her back. Boop. You remember? I has to say to my dad, you remember back in those days you could have get it? Anyway, I was like, Jesus. This teacher, she not easy. But anyway, we started that school. And guys, I'm telling you, Kitson Town was quite different. It was red dirt. But as I said, when we started that school now, the principal of that school was Mr. Harris. So let me go down into giving you a little synopsis of the teachers that I remember. So you had Mr. Harris as the principal, and then you had a teacher called, Mrs. Thompson, Miss Henry, Mr. Parker, Mr. Forrester, and Miss Dowse. Mighty God. Every one of them teachers are wicked. Them, back in them days, guys, kids going to school now, them have it easy. If those teachers were around today, them teachers wouldn't have no job. They would have come classified as child abuse this year, that day. Them wouldn't have a job. They couldn't work in the education system because them teachers used to clap hard and they used to whip with cane and leather belts. You come late, you get a whooping. Classified as doing well in class, you get a whipping. Do your homework, you get a whooping. You fight, you get everything back them days was a whooping. So guys, okay. So I can't remember I think my first teacher was Mr. Parker. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of them teachers. I think it was Mr. Parker. And Mr. Parker could have beat. Good teachers, they talk good, but Lord, ask a question, don't know how to do something, don't do your homework, any little thing. Mr. Parker, them I take out them cane. And you'll be getting a whooping. So it's either you're gonna run or you're gonna make sure try to do your homework or just try be on your best behavior because everything, guys, is a cane. So before we go to school, all right, in the mornings when we come to school, we had to go at the front of the yard of the school and you would line up in your grades. So say from grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, and you would line up in a line in your grades in the boiling early morning sun, yeah, and you would do your devotion. So we'd have devotion and they would sing. Can't remember the songs that we sing. Anybody who remember the songs, put it in the comment. You would sing a hymn, and then you would have to recite a certain psalms. What was the psalms again? I can't remember what the psalms was. But every morning there would be a different Bible scripture that you would have to recite, or you knew by heart. Our Father prayer, you had to know that by heart. And then we'd have a devotion and the bell would go ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And once that bell go off, everybody find their position in their class, in their grades, and it was devotion time. Then when devotion time finished, ting-a-ling-a-ling again, and you have to get into your classrooms. So that was the beginning of the day. Then, guys, now, so I started with I think it was Mr. Parker, I think it was. And then I can remember having Mr. Forrester. So you basically go through all the teachers. And Mr. Forrester, Mr. Parker, they could beat. Every little thing is a cane. And they were like so dramatic. But at the end of the day, you were getting taught. Then, guys, when it came to now going into Miss Thompson class, it's coming to a time where you're going to be large grade 6, because now Miss Thompson teach grade 6, and grade 6 is the class where you would do this exam that they call at the time common entrance exam. So guys, you would be like from grade 4 and grade 5 coming up would kind of give them an idea what type of student you was. If you was what then classified as high student or medium student, or the D were the don't student. So that would classify if you're eligible for common entrance. So guys, you're going to Mrs. Thompson class, and it was her class now was the common entrance class. She don't play, guys. This lady don't play. And as much as she was strict, she was a nice teacher. I still liked Mrs. Thompson. Yeah, I did like her. So Miss Thompson, no, I can't remember how much children she had for herself, but she always had a bag of children coming to school with. And these children would be like either nephews or maybe cousins or sometimes stranger, but she took everybody under her wing. And anybody that lived with Miss Thompson, I would classify them as bright students. Guys, Miss Thompson, no, she would always have this saying, sky is the limit, the sky is the limit, the world is your oyster. And you know, you have to work hard and put in the work and all these things Miss Thompson would say. And she'd give out homework. She would give you like maths. And guys, maths wasn't my strong point. I'm not gonna lie. I never liked maths till this day. I still don't like maths. But she would give out her maths question. And then the thing is, when Miss Thompson give you work, you know, and you go home, my father now come ask you what kind of homework you get and this and that. And then he's questioning you, you know, quizzing you on the homework. And if you don't know it, you get a beating. And then when you go back to school the next day and things, Miss Thompson mark your homework book or whatever book and it not come up to the mark, you get a beating. So you couldn't win. You couldn't win. It's either you got bright or you got just plain dunce. But you couldn't win. Yeah. And there was a time that my brother even said to me that Miss Thompson had a day when she would wear no stockings. You know, back then, Jamaica, the teacher them in them suit and well put together, and their tights or their stockings and their little shoes or their little heels. You know, them put together, not like these, well, I won't say, but back then, them teacher put together. So my brother said this particular day, if Miss Thompson don't wear no stocking, you know it's a murderation. Dear, Miss Thompson's gonna be on a beating session, you know? So when students come in and then look and see Miss Thompson dress and then I look down and I see no stocking, them start, Lord Jesus, me never do my homework, or me forget my homework, or me not understand the work, is a beating session. So you have to get it together, guys. You have to get it together. So anyway, Miss Thompson, she was just a character. She was feared by many, but she got good results on common entrance time. Majority of the, if say 20 pupils sit common entrance, 15 a pass. She get good results, guys. But unlucky for me, me the too fear Miss Thompson. Me the too fear my daddy. Me not pass no exam. Me not pass no common entrance. So I had to move down the line. So anyway, guys. Yeah. Miss Thompson. And there was an incident once. Like, Miss Thompson, I think she lived... One stage, I think she lived in, I can't remember if it was St. John's Road or Spanish Town area, but Miss Thompson used to have her car, her taxi, like a chartered taxi, would pick them up and bring her to school with her children that she was living with, or the children was living with her, or if it wasn't a chartered taxi, it would be a particular taxi that would come and take her to school and take her home. So this popular taxi that I think that they normally went with, the taxi, something happened and she couldn't go on the taxi that day. She couldn't, either the taxi was late or the taxi was too full, but she couldn't get that taxi that day. And guys, God was on her side. And I tell you, when dangers that we don't see, God foresee them. Because on that fateful day, guys, on that day, Mrs. Thompson was supposed to take this taxi. And I can't remember if it was coming to the school or going home, but she was supposed to get in this taxi with her children and stuff. And she didn't get on it. And the taxi had a fatal accident, where a lot of people was killed in that accident. Yeah, a lot of people died in that accident. And Miss Thompson came back to school and she gave her little testimony of how, she would have been in that car, and God, spared her, saved her. So, she didn't get in the car, and that car, I think everybody died who was in that car. Who didn't die was seriously injured. So that was an incident that I remember about Mrs. Thompson. And yeah, and as she got old and stuff like that, but a lot of students passed through her hands. And I know that I've got friends watching me that also knew about Mrs. Thompson and passed their common entrance and went on to go high school and stuff like that. Mrs. Thompson was a great teacher. She was truly a great teacher. And another great teacher was Miss Dowse. So, Miss Dowse now, when you didn't pass common entrance, you go down into grade 9 and I think you would take the exam, technical high school exam. I can't remember what the exam was named. But then you wouldn't go to high school, but you would take an exam to go to technical high, something like that. If I'm wrong, please remind me of the names because, the brain all know. But anyway, Mrs. Dawes, she was another tyrant of a teacher. She shouting on her body big and she was short. But the woman, she was terrible with the cane. Mighty goodness, the woman would whip you, and you had to be on your A game with Miss Dawes. And I went into Miss Dawes' class, and yet again, guys, I was no A student. That was never my calling. Was never an A student, but I did fairly well and went through to Miss Doubt's class. I think I took one exam again. But you know what I realized as I got older and as an adult, I realized that because of my dad, I developed a fear for exams. Yeah, because of how my dad was with me. Even when I studied later as an adult, I would be so good at whatever I'm doing. But when it came to exams, I would go through panic attack. I would go, the brain just got blank and all these things. So I realized when I went into therapy, I realized that, I had a thing, a blockage when it came to studying and education because of how my dad was with me, unfortunate. But at least I kind of get to understand why I wasn't able to pass exams. And it's any exam. Guys, I remember when I took my driving lessons, yeah. That's another story time. Me take my driving test, yeah, the driving test. And it took me how many tests before I got my driver's license. So that's just to show you. So guys, yeah, so Miss Dawes, she was another tyrant of a teacher. But in overall, they were good teachers. I can say a few things about the men teachers, but I won't. But they were good teachers, and Kitson Town All Age School was a fun time, and it was a learning time and a time to really remember. So guys, I think that's all I have on, Kitson Town All Age School. I think that's all I have, all I can remember. If you remember anything about Kitson Town All Age School, just put it in the comments below and let me know how what you remember. I remember the school gate when it was break time. We'd run down to the school gate and we'd buy with gizzard, with drops. We would buy like little snacks and stuff like that. Cherry malt. Who remember cherry malt, guys? Vanilla malt, chocolate malt, and all these various things as the higglers or the school higglers would be out at the gate selling their stuff, and we as children would go out there to buy our little snacks. And if you didn't have snack, then you buy your little, you bring what you bring from your home. And the fritters, remember them fritters where, I can't remember the little old lady who used to sell the fritters. Yeah, but they used to have the fritters outside of the gate, and your sky juice and your little bag juice, guys. And those were the days. And at the front of the school, at the side of the school, coming up the school, you used to have a little graveyard. Can you imagine? In a school, you have a graveyard. So sometimes we would sit on the tomb down there in a little cool shade and sit and have our little breaks. And as soon as the bell go off again, ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, boom, you have to be fine in your class and make you reach another class they're late. Remember, Mr. Parker, I wait upon you. Mr. Forrester, I wait upon you. Miss Thompson, I wait upon you. Miss Dawes, every one of them teacher, I wait upon you with a cane, guys. So you had to be early. You couldn't come to school late. You couldn't misbehave. You couldn't come devotion late. And then when it came to lunchtime, school dinners. They had school dinners at one point where you get your little brown stewed chicken with little bulgur wheat, or sometimes they had they didn't really have, I can't remember if back then we had rice. It was a lot of bulgur wheat them time. Rice was scarce enough for the time. Back in them days, rice was a scarce commodity. You couldn't get rice. And when you did get rice, it was them old rice, brown rice, where you have your shit and blow out and pick out. So yeah, guys, so that was school days. So guys, that's the end of my video. I've come to the end of my video. If you like this video, please like up the video. Put your comment in the comment section, and also tell a friend of Victoria's Reality Corner, guys. And guys, thank you for listening to me today, and continue to subscribe subscribe, guys. Until my next video, guys, I just want to bless you up this Sunday. Have a blessed Sunday. Yeah. Take care, be good, have an awesome week. And we're also in the month of October, which is my month, guys. It's my birthday month. Hey! And I know I've got a few friends who are also born October. We are nice people, guys. Yeah. So it's October month. It's in the UK, it's Black History Month, Cancer Month. Every good thing happening in October month. So guys, big up on a nice clean self. Until next time, remember to put God first in everything that you do. And I love you with the love of God. Until next time, guys, have a blessed week. Mwah. Bye.